Well, our next guest is the world-famous hypnotist and behavioural scientist who has helped millions of people with his power of positive thinking. Joining us live from his home, Paul McKenna is here now to help us deal with our new normal. Welcome, Paul. How are you doing?
Actually, overall, pretty good, Andrea. I've been busy at doing things like this and recording podcasts and writing things for the newspapers. So, yeah, I've got a routine going.
It's interesting because you talk about your podcast, and it's the Paul McKenna Positivity podcast. And one of the things that you speak about on that is the importance of setting yourself goals and having something to keep you busy. Is this something that clearly you're practicing yourself?
Yes, people tend to like routines. In fact, when there's research studies into what frightens people the most, the unknown is always in the top 10. And because the world is going through quite a challenge and a change at the moment, we don't have the normal routines. And so that's disrupted people's sleep and it's caused them to be anxious. And so what I do is at the moment, every day is like a Saturday. There's stuff that I can do, but I don't have to get up and really go at it. And so I quite like having a routine, yeah. And I think it's important for good mental health.
Well, because you are such an expert, and we're so lucky to have you on the show today, we thought we would break it down, the different sort of problems that people at home will be facing. So the first one that I want to ask you about, and before the weekly magazines ask why, it's purely because it's on a list and not to do with me, relationships. How are people going to help improve their relationships, which could become a little bit fractured during lockdown?
Well, I think they are. I mean, you have to see that domestic violence is way up. But this is because when you take people who clearly love each other and you put them in a close confined space for a period of time, it amplifies things. So it amplifies the good things, but also the negative things as well. So people often end up arguing, and they can be arguing over stupid stuff, like, why did you put the bread in that cupboard and not that one? And it's nothing to do with the bread. It's just that people are tense and anxious, obviously, because of everything that's going on. So my take on this, and this comes from the scientific research, is that in conflict resolution, it all comes down to unmet needs. So I'll give you an example. One person says to the other, when this is all over, let's go away on holiday. The other person goes, well, don't want to go abroad. And the other person goes, why are you always so negative? So what we have there, just let me pull that apart. One person makes a request, let's go away on holiday. The other says, I don't want to go abroad. And it could be for any number of reasons. Maybe they don't want to travel or they don't like foreign food. And they go, well, I don't want to go abroad. The other one goes, why are you so negative? So from a simple discussion, it goes into personal criticism. So the golden rule is find out what the other person's unmet need is and stay out of the personal criticism.
And Paul, so you have, you've got so many people that are at home not knowing what to do with their day because they're in lockdown. What tips would you give to help somebody get motivated?
Well, that's a great question, because a lot of people have, again, because of they haven't got to get up and go to work, they've got into the habit of sitting around on the sofa and, all being really quite nice, and it's lovely to relax, etc. But in order to get your momentum back, what I say is you've got to have one big goal that's enough to get you out of bed in the morning. So maybe in a month or 6 months or a year, I want to achieve that. And that's got to be something that excites you, yeah? But then what you need to do is to break down the steps to achieving that into small chunks, if you like. And I'll give you an example. There was a lady who lost 10 stone using my weight loss system, and she'd run 3 marathons. And I said, how on earth did you get motivated to do that? She said, well, it started off with me walking the dog. Then I walked the dog a bit further. Then I thought, I'll jog with the dog. I'll jog a bit further. Actually, then I'll run with the dog. Now I'll run a lot, and then I'll run a half marathon, a marathon, and another marathon. So she did it in small steps. So if you can say, what is one thing I can do today to move me closer to my goals, you build a momentum.
It's so hard at the moment, isn't it, for everybody to find that way to be positive, to have moments of happiness. There's no such thing as happy all the time. Sure. But how can people sort of bring the light in a bit?
Well, one of the things I think is a great question again. And one of the things I recommend to people is that they, instead of looking at what they don't have or what they can't do, is think about the things you can do. For example, all the things you do have. Do you have your health? And if that box is ticked, that's a massive one, right? Because without your health, you don't have anything. Do you have friends you can connect with? Human connection is very important. We know this from the research into depression and loneliness. So if you can, Skype with your friends or FaceTime or whatever it is. And then things like, ask yourself, do you have a roof over your head? Do you have food in your fridge? One of the things I do do you have a purpose? Not even a job, a purpose. One of the things I do every day is a gratitude list. And I think, what am I grateful for? My wife, my dog, little things like that first cup of tea in the morning. The cup cup of tea later in the day doesn't taste as good as the first ones. So just by doing that, what you're doing is you're literally forcing the hand of your thinking into all the good things, and that then becomes your new default setting after a while.
Do you know, everything you're saying makes so much sense, and I'm relieved because it's something that I feel really strongly about, that you have to have a purpose to get up in the morning, and if you're feeling stressed and lacking in gratitude, that's the time when you need to do it the most. So you have a stress-busting exercise for all of us, including everyone at home, to do now. So I will leave you to look down the lens and do this for everyone at home. Paul, take it away.
Okay, now you may have seen me do this before. If not, it's very simple. If you put one hand here, so on your shoulders, and I'm going to ask you to stroke the side of your arms, because when you do this, by the way, this is a fantastic new scientific technique. This produces delta waves in the brain, which are relaxing. That feels comfortable, doesn't it? That feels nice. When you were a newborn baby, your mother rocked you in her arms, and so you're hardwired to feel this comfortable feeling. So if you just gently stroke like this, if you're feeling stressed, you do this, and then say these words after me. Safe.
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 Peaceful.
Safe.
Peaceful.
Peaceful.
Hopeful.
Peaceful.
Hopeful.
Hopeful.
Calm.
Calm.
And then imagine, close your eyes and imagine you're walking somewhere nice, like on a beach or, somewhere where you like to go in the summer. And that's it. Imagine walking and see the things you see, hear the things you hear, feel the things you feel. Keep stroking the side of your arms here, producing lots of delta waves and feeling that safe, peaceful, hopeful, comfortable, lovely sensation. That's right. Just keep doing that. That's it. That's it. Now, I've actually recorded a number of videos of me doing this and stuck them all over the internet. They're on my social media. If you want, you can go and watch them, download them for free, and do them as often as you need to. If you did this several times a day, you just got comfortable like this and you went safe, peaceful, hopeful, calm. You imagine somewhere where it is a nice place to be. That will reduce your stress levels. Do this a couple of times a day. And it's a remedial technique for people who are feeling stressed out, but it's also a way of maintaining your health maintenance, if you like.
Do you know what's so good about this, Paul, is that in moments of crisis, when sometimes stress can be that bubbling under the surface type of stress, or sometimes it can spike. If you're feeling something like that, this technique, you can take yourself off somewhere quiet, and it only takes 30 seconds or a minute to calm yourself right down, and you're not having to remember to do something that's too complicated. Literally shutting your eyes and stroking your arms and thinking of somewhere lovely, I'm sure is something that everyone at home can use. So thank you so much for that.
And this is used, by the way, by people in the military, in the services, the paramedics, the police, all kinds of different people that you wouldn't expect to use this are using this at the moment. Some of the first responders, the doctors and the nurses and the technicians are using this after their shift to help them stop getting PTSD.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Paul. So Paul McKenna's Positivity podcast is out now. It's available on Apple Podcasts. Thank you for joining us today, Paul. Stay safe.
Thank you.